want to know you by Lord Howell. Every water takes the meantime.
I can't get to the mouse. There it is. I'm sorry. Okay, now I can do it.
I want to see you, God. I want to see you, God. God, hold my vision. Please let me see your greatest vision. It's me. I want to hear you, God. I want to hear you, God. God, let me listen. Hear only truth. My intuition is you. I want to know you, God. I want to know you, God. I know your presence opens my heart, feeling your essence. I'm a part of the almighty oneness, peaceful and true, birth and creation, God. That is you.
Let's turn to the presentation
Mommy,
of
how do we do it?
prayer box.
Corn.
This is our prayer box. We keep it back there on the table so that it's available for you to write down any prayers that you may have and place them in the box. So let us just take a moment and breathe in and move to that place of higher vibration within us. Let us remember any prayers that have been written down and placed in this box, and any prayers that are written on your heart that have not been written down on
No bird.
any unspoken prayers, and lift them up to their fulfillment, the greatest good of all. With gratitude we say thank you, and so it is. Amen.
Amen.
And now let us continue. David, would you lead us in reading the daily word? It's also
I will be happy to.
also in your bulletin.
Today's daily word is grace. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. The Gospel of Luke tells the story of a father who willingly divides his property between his two sons. After wasting his inheritance and then experiencing extreme poverty, the younger son returns to his father's home, humble. When the young man declares his unworthiness to be called son, his father responds by giving him gifts and celebrating his homecoming. Surely this young man experienced grace. Like the prodigal son, I may feel unworthy. Feelings of unforgiveness, such as the older brother felt, may also block the flow of good in my life. As I recognize and release these thoughts and feelings, I open my entire being to God's grace. With joy and gratitude, I embrace all of God's good. And today's daily word comes from Luke 15:31. Then the Father said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours."
Let us prepare ourselves for prayer and whatever way you do it. I always like to take a nice big deep breath, hold it a couple of seconds, focus on my spiritual being, and let it out. And like I said, choose your own prayer preparation, and now we will say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Carol is going to lead us in an introductory meditation, and then she will be speaking to us. I got this note about who Carol is. I've seen her before, but I would like to, I just sat here and underlined a couple of things. So I'm not going to talk about the whole thing, but I see it says something about poetry, mysticism, and art. And I know there's at least my wife in the congregation, and maybe some of the rest of you that will resonate with that. Then I see a little further down here, she's also a life and spiritual coach, teacher, mentor, and path of life. So welcome, Carol, as she comes and leads us in a meditation and gives us our thought.
So beautiful to see all of you here today. Can you hear me? It's checking. So we're going to take a moment to do a little meditation and really prepare the space for the grace that you are, for the connection, yoking with the one, the divine. In whatever way you conceive or see that, we have a place within us that's sacred. So if you will all just take a moment, and if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. If not, just bring a soft gaze to wherever you're sitting. Feel your body and feel your breath. And just take a moment to recognize that you are here now. And today for our meditation, we're going to take a little journey from the mind, from our worries and our concerns of the mind, and we're going to drop into the heart. So if you will, imagine that there's an elevator, and you walk towards it, and it's right in the middle of your forehead. And that elevator has levels of consciousness. And at the top, it's the mind, and then it comes down, and at the very bottom of that button place, there's a heart. You go ahead and press the heart, and there's an opening, and you drop right in. And you find yourself moving down, down, through layers of
Orange.
awareness,
Orange.
consciousness, and land softly in the heart. Taking a moment to recognize the vastness of the space
Orange.
and the sweetness and the sacredness and the holiness we're quiet
Orange.
as you start to still.
Heart.
Now we notice that the heart is knowing. It knows all of us. It
Heart.
knows those places that are frightened or scared,
Heart. Color heart.
agitated. Even if we don't recognize it ourselves, our heart will know. This is a heart also that knows our joy and love and desires. And for a moment we make friends with the wholeness of this space. Resting, breathing slowly. We notice the space expand and is vast,
Come on, heart.
connected,
Two. Come
and
on,
supported.
heart. Come on, heart.
So now we'll take a few moments of
Come
just
on,
being
heart.
in the stillness and feeling
Where's
the
your
space that you are.
Mom. No, Mom. Where's it? There's oil. Keep my mind. That's your way. Whoa. Phone. Wait, phone.
And so now connect.
Whoa.
We bring ourselves back to this place. Here, grounded and surrounded by love. We open our eyes and come together in a circle of love. Welcome back. So many friends here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, all the little guys. We love having you here. And for some people that I've met before, I love coming here. It feels like coming to
Thank
family.
you.
Kind of easier to speak to family than a bunch of strangers. So, and those that I just met, just such a lovely space here. If you are a member of this community, I love coming here. It's a high vibration, lots of love. And for those of you that are just joining, I know there's one lady that's here just for this weekend. We're so honored because we know you bring with you your congregation and your family. So I was asked to speak here, and it's always a great pleasure. And what I find is when I'm asked to speak, I need to choose a subject. And this time I wanted to be really mindful about what could serve. What would serve the community? And for myself, there's been a great deal of sadness and grief around what's happening all around the world and in our community. And I really hear a lot of people that are in distress and sadness. And some people more so than others, but even if you don't meet this, it's sometimes underlying and having an impact. And you notice around you, and there's so much that's arising right now that feels like chaos. And I thought, well, what I wanted to speak about was joy. And I was like, wow, how do I have those two things come together? So I decided to choose a title that would be challenging for me, but maybe open up a question or an inner dialogue or an outer dialogue for all of us. And it was walking the joy path even in difficult times. And I think all of you who have come here here have a base, a connection to whether you call it nature or God or divinity or the mystery. And so if you have that, you've had a little place in your life where you've cultivated an inner voice. So my question was, well, where does joy fit in walking this human path and still being spiritual? How can I look at the news and not be so devastated that I walk around completely obsessed or concerned or frightened? And I just want to ask, kind of open this up for a moment and ask, on both sides, the joy path and also maybe some of the difficulty, what is arising within you? Because as I offer this space, I am going to actually hopefully register for all of us and I start to address, I don't know the answers to anything, and I'm not claiming to even have a message that will, clear things up for you, but what I do know is that you're all innately connected to the inner wisdom, the inspiration, the intuition, the divinity. So let's just open it up for the field right now, and if you will just briefly say, what is it that you're meeting right now that would be relevant? Anybody here?
Transformation inside.
Transformation inside. Thank you.
Personal integrity and accountability in response.
Beautiful. Personal integrity, accountability, and response.
Strengthening my foundation, a new determination to be part of the change.
Beautiful. So strengthening the foundation and
Be inspired to have that motivation to be part of the change.
to be part of the change. To be the evolutionary force for the change. Beautiful.
To get past despair and to feel that love is all around, supporting everyone. That's hard.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Getting past despair, the grief, the sadness, and feeling the love that's all around. Now, right now, I have to tell you, I have full God bumps because I can feel the field in us starting to come together. And we already took the time to start dropping in here, and here we're here. So let's see what arises from this. Thank you so much. Now, all of you, even if you haven't spoken of it, probably have these places that you're encountering that are difficult. Part of walking our human path is that we're going to have those encounters. But we live in many realms. So how do we bring what we call spirituality in? How do we walk that spiritual path? How do we walk not only the spiritual path, but the joy path? So I went ahead and I put this out online, my Facebook, and I thought, well, let me ask. Let me not have this just come from me because I have a certain point of view. Let me find out what's out there. So one of my very first responses was from a professor of mine who lives in Winnipeg, and Dr. Stuart Ritterman. I adore him. He's funny. He's got a big beard. He looks like Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. And he's older now, and he lives up there, but he always is my Hyoka. He's the guy that really, gets me going, and he'll press my buttons. But this time he didn't press my buttons. He responded from the depth of his being, and I want to read what he said. It's hard to walk the joy path when you are still hated. After 6 million have been eliminated, ancient hate still exists. Whoa. Now, I wasn't expecting that, honestly. But he spoke from this really deep place of intergenerational trauma. And that's also something that we are absolutely seeing everywhere. We're seeing that erupt, whether it be groups of people, divisiveness, judgment, separatism. All of that is coming up, whether it's people or even male and female. There's everything is coming up, and it's coming up to be seen. Now, he responded, and my job is not to put my idea or coat it with something that's sweet. I just said, I'm so sorry. Because sometimes that's what's needed to bring you home. I didn't have anything else to say to him, but I love you. And I'm sorry. So I thought, well, that certainly wasn't the way I was going with this talk. But I took that information in. And if you'll open to the field, you'll be guided to that deeper space. So I went ahead and I looked up Cahill Gilbran, who spoke on joy. And I was fascinated to hear what he had to say, because it kind of bring into what Stu had brought up. And this isn't the whole thing. His writing and poetry is on joy, but here's just a few words from it. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. The deeper sorrow carves into your being. The more joy you can contain. The deeper sorrow carves into your being. The more joy you can contain. And joy and sorrow are inseparable. Wow. It started letting me have a place to stand back because I was so thrown by what Stu said, and my heart just broke. And I had no words. But it started to bring me back to the ballast of something deeper. See, sometimes we have definitions of what joy is, or sorrow, but they're concretized. Really, every word needs to be kind of looked at anew almost every moment. So can we kind of meet what it means to be in sorrow or distress today? Difficult. What is that for you? Because each one will be different. And can you also maybe undress or look at joy? What is joy for you right now? So I looked at the definition, so I thought, okay, well, let's move forward on the joy path here. And I looked up a dictionary definition. There's a lot of joy definitions that have to do with acquiring things and getting things or having things or expectation. But there was one that I kind of liked, and it was, joy runs deep into the core of us and radiates throughout. Joy is the response of something deep in the soul to someone, which is God, the divinity, or someone that you love. Or for something, such as being set free. You can have joy. It can be supreme and overpowering and wonderful. Now I like that, but it didn't feel like it really captured the depth of what was going on after having that encounter with Stu. There was something lacking, so I went around and I looked around and I looked up this poet, David White. I don't know if you know him. Just a beautiful poet, philosopher, and a non-dualist. And he wrote something that really kind of resonated in relationship with sorrow and joy being companions. And here's what he said. To feel the full untrammeled joy is to walk through the doorway of fear. The dropping away of the anxious, worried self felt itself like a death itself. It's a disappearance, a giving away. Seeing the laughter of friendship, the vulnerability of happiness, that is felt suddenly as a strength, a solace and a source, the calming of our place in the living conversation of life, the sheer privilege of being in the presence of a mountain, a sky, or a familiar face. I am here, and you are here, and together we make a world. That landed so deeply within me because it's not a linear description. It's a description of something that I can encounter in my life. And it sounded so much like presence, being present, no matter what was arising. I don't know about you, but sometimes we have hard times. Sometimes we lose an animal. Our Reverend David over at the Center for Spiritual Living just lost his beloved dog Speck. And he is brokenhearted. But I wrote him this morning and he said, there's sweet heartache because of the love that is still alive. So joy and sorrow, they can have a relationship, and we can cultivate that. We can create a space for that. And it does take that. I think joy is actually a capacity. And the capacity is always here, but our ability to take it in and embody it and make a friend with it and start to walk that way is something that you have to meet in your way. I wrote this little question to remind me to ask, well, why go ahead and embrace joy? Because really, life is so busy. Why would you pull that out and have that be salient and important? Have that be an intention in your life. And I love science and I love podcasts, so I just got this information that kind of made its way through me, and this is what I got from it, is that there's by the idea of involution, evolving within, we are contributing to the evolution of our planet. So that involution is necessary. As a matter of fact, what the scientists are saying is that as individuals, we have met our evolution almost to the point of stopping. And how they measure it is the convolutions in the brain and how we are oriented right now. We are maxing out in our individual evolution. But you know what they said, which I thought was wonderful, was that the next level of evolution is right here, right now. And it is that we must feel our interconnectedness. That it's time to feel the we space. It's time to rely on your neighbors. It's time to care about other people and what they're thinking, and have an awareness about what's going on, not only in your own home, but elsewhere. I love that. So by doing our own work, we make a way for evolution of our species. And don't you all feel that? Like this is we're talking about a planetary change right now. This is not just in the United States. This is across the planet. Everything is arising to be met. What's interesting, within yourself, there's stuff arising to be met. And as a matter of fact, those places where you are feeling sad and aggrieved and overwhelmed, those are the places that if you'll bring in some compassion and kindness and forgiveness, those are the doorways to your own evolution. And not only will it affect your own life, it'll affect everybody in your field. And isn't that how it happens? That how you treat your daughter, how you treat your mailman, how you are in the grocery store, how you carry yourself will be changed by your ability to stand with compassion in your own sorrow field. And in standing that, there's a spaciousness that opens up. You're no longer just contracted on your own problems. You can say, oh, well, I love myself, even though I am in pain, and I am brokenhearted, and I am confused, and I am feeling the chaos of the world. It feels overwhelming. I can't do anything. Even so, I deeply love and respect myself. I deeply love and respect others. And just by walking that involution, there is a hope for humanity. So for me, I always knew joy was important. You know, we have some little guys here, and I know one little Avery over there, and she is filled with joy I love hanging out with Avery because she reminds me about how to play, how to let go of all that heavy hoochah, and how to get down in the ground and make mud pies. We all have that. I love what David said, and Cliff invited us to embrace our child. That innocence is still alive in us. So why do I want to embrace joy? Because I can lean in and feel into the power of walking in joy. When I meet you and I am here today, I can feel the joy of this space, what we're doing here together. It's a great invitation. And so I took out one of my other poets for the invitation to joy, and it's John O'Donohue. And he's an Irish poet. I'm half Irish, I claim that. And I just love the way he is a wordsmith. So I'm going to read his invitation to why we go deep and meet those hard places and also cultivate that space of joy. Either we are in the universe to inhabit the eternity of our souls and grow real, or else we might as well be dedicated to our days of shopping and killing time watching talk shows. Let's not let our days fall away like empty shells and miss all the treasure. Each day is a secret story woven around the radiant heart of wonder. The sacred duty of being an individual is to gradually learn how to live so as to awaken the eternal you. Now, I don't have an Irish brogue, but boy, those words really capture me. So, we have this invitation to home, and I just wanted to talk about the capacity a little bit. A lot of you watch Facebook or see the little videos, and if you don't, I'm going to describe one. You may have seen this, but there was a little video about a little girl who was about 5 or 6, and it was her birthday. And her mom and dad gave her all kinds of little packages, and she opened them up, and it was like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, and it was whatever other toys, fairy wands, you know, and it was all Disney stuff, and she loved Disney, and she's like, oh, and she's like, just radiant with joy, and like jumping around and so happy every time she opened one. And then her parents gave her one more, and she opened it up, and it was a certificate, and it was a big picture of Disney World. And they said, do you know what that means? And she said, well, no. And it says, well, here's your bags. We've already packed for you. We're leaving for Disney. She was stunned and wept. She wept and wept. And if you had turned off the volume and just saw her weeping, you would think, oh, so sad, what's going on? But I want to just let you know that we're energetic beings. And she was demonstrating what we all feel sometimes. Sometimes we don't have the capacity to hold the joy that is moving into our life. So she was showing us a little girl like us. Are there places in your life where you're opening up and you're becoming aware and it's almost too much? It's okay. All you have to do is bring in kindness and compassion and forgiveness and just embrace what you can and build that space within you. Because I know you want it. I know every one of us want to feel at home and enjoy with our life and how in our community. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm just going to ask, what are some ways, how are you finding the space to come home to the center of your being? And we're going to use you kind of as an idea to share with others. What are the ways that you come home so that you can feel that joy, so the capacity can grow?
So what I do is I put like a reminder on my phone to say what I'm grateful for. And I've been doing that for the past month. And it's like every time after I say those, what I'm grateful for, my world just opens. Like, I am grateful, and this is all I need.
So beautiful. If you guys didn't hear, she's speaking of gratitude. And David Stendhal Rost, who is a Benedictine monk, said that it's not from, joy doesn't come from gratitude. Gratitude comes from joy. And that is such a beautiful way. So be grateful. Take the time to say it. She puts it in her phone every day and reads it. What a wonderful way to do that.
Like you say, I mean, the reality of the total confusion and dissonance that seems to be out there, and the reflection on the inside, and what I've been doing just recently is really just going back to my breath. Just feeling myself breathe, feeling the heartbeat in my chest, so that when it starts to get really, really distant, at least I got that place to go to.
Beautiful, beautiful. Bring yourself home. So Richard's saying, come home with your breath. Feel your body as automatically return to be Anybody else got some ideas?
Making art and poetry.
Art and poetry. I'm right with you, girl. Beautiful. Debbie.
For me, it's through prayer. When I get into a deep prayer for other people, where I'm feeling so much compassion, God's compassion, that I'm just weeping and weeping. At the same time, that I'm feeling so much joy because I can feel God's love so strongly with me.
Beautiful. So deep prayer and recognition of the compassion of the compassionate heart. Thank you.
Well, for me, because when I receive bad news, I try to get over the initial shock. I really focus on finding the positive in what I may not have gotten what I wanted, but there's always an alternative plan, and to focus on gratitude that God has a better plan or a better option for me. And it does happen.
It's beautiful. So it's a seed of trust, a seed of faith. Even though we're not receiving what we think should be happening, to have a faith in something larger. And it's a surrender. So beautiful. Those are great ideas. Oh, how about you?
A long, long time ago, my husband said to me, "Why are you never afraid of anything?" This has been a long time now. And I said, "Why should I be afraid? He's always with me."
Beautiful.
And that's how I really feel. Constantly, all the time.
Right.
100%.
You have cultivated such a deep relationship with that inner space, with that connectivity with God, the divine. Beautiful, beautiful. So there's different levels of capacity, and they change daily. They might change moment to moment, to really embrace that you are right where you need to be, and from this place we walk. I want to tell you about one more story, and I have to say God has worked through you today. So Laura Lane Powell is a friend of mine. And I want to tell you about Sorrow and Joy Living Together. She is a friend of mine who is posting on Facebook daily a video, and she has terminal cancer. And she has just been told within the next couple of months she won't be here. So her body is changing. She is a composer, a singer, an artist. She is a free spirit. If you see her, you would not forget her. She is just flying through the world. And she writes a video every day. And she does it from that joy space. And she is telling us about the pain she's in. She was rushed into the hospital because her oncologist said, "You need to get here. We think something's going on with your gallbladder." She wrote she was so grateful that they had a room ready for her. And when she got there, she sent a message out to all her peeps, telling them, "I'm okay, I'm getting the treatment I need, and I'm in a loving space. I love you all." That is a woman who is saying, "Look, I'm going to leave the planet." And that could be the scariest thing for all of us. Our mortality is about the edge where we are meeting the scariest thing. And she goes, I'm going to show people how to walk through dying differently. Nothing is what you think it is. And yes, I have pain, I don't want it. And yes, I'm scared sometimes, but I also have a faith. And she has cultivated that space and joy. So for Laura Lane right now, who's going to listen to this, we love you. And we all have our pain. And we all have our suffering, but you lift us up, girl, by your example. And we're going to lift each other up by our example, because when you are weak and you are sad, you have friends. And let's start to be interconnected. Let's start taking care of our inner self so that we can show up for each other. And sometimes you'll be able to show up for yourself, and sometimes you can't. You got a friend. Make a friend here, make a friend here, make a friend here. In this simple way, we can bring loving joy and presence to our life. I made a little acronym because my friend Sharon is a queen of acronym. Now, she does it in a really cool way. I couldn't do it, so I made it in my own way. And this is the acronym JOY, J-O-Y. Jeweled heart, opening, expanding, allowing, yoking, divine interconnectivity. So with closing words today, first of all, I am so grateful. This little journey that I took was a surprise, and is still a surprise. Meeting all of you has changed me today. We have created a field of love, and from this place, each of you will meet right what you need to meet and flower where you are, and it will change the field of humanity.
Yes.
I am so grateful to know all of you, and gosh, I feel very touched. There's people here I haven't seen in a long time that I love. So I'm going to close with words by John O'Donohue. I wish I could do the brogue. Oh, sure, and you know I'd like to, but I would mess it up, I think. So here it is. So this is your blessing, and may you take these words, and when you hear something that resonates, stay with it, because it's yours. May you awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. May you receive great encouragement when new frontiers beckon. May you respond to the call of your gift and find the courage to follow its path. May the flame of anger free you from falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame, and may anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror the inner dignity of your soul. May you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. And may you be consoled in the secret symmetry of your own soul. Thank you.
So blessed to have her here today. Thank you, Carol. That was just amazing, as always. We're going to go ahead and stand and sing another song called Trust Your Heart to Lead You Home by Dana Clark. So we'll go ahead and stand and sing this song.